Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know I told you in my previous video that I would be doing a kind of like a video on my first round BBL experience that I had in Miami. So I thought I would sit down for a few minutes and talk to you guys about that. Look, I'm new to this whole YouTube thing, and I'm having to record on my phone, and I have terrible lighting. And for some odd reason, it feels rather weird to sit and talk to the camera with my boyfriend in the other room. I feel like I have to whisper, or I feel like he's probably like, what the fuck is she doing? But anywho, so if I look kind of awkward, it is just a little awkward. But anyway, I'd been wanting to get a Brazilian butt lift probably since 2005-ish, I want to say. Most of the doctors around my area were charging around $12,000 to $13,000, and to me that was just an unrealistic price. Like $12,000 or $13,000, you can find a house in my area. I mean, it wouldn't be a huge house, but granted, it would be a lump sum down payment. I noticed a couple of my friends had started getting BBLs done, and I'm like, wow, you know, these look really good. What doctors did you go to? And everyone I talked to had been going to Miami. So, a couple of girls that I know ended up, I had actually wanted to go to Vive. I had been stalking them forever, for years. And at that time, I think they had different coordinators, so it was kind of hard to get a hold of them. And I seen a couple girls' bodies that I know, and I'm like, wow, you know, your body looks great. Where did you go? And they were like, oh, we went to Spectrum Aesthetics in Miami, Florida. And I think most of those dolls had went to Dr. Chang, which is amazing. And I think he had just started out, so his prices were very different than they are now. I'm thinking they were along the $3,000 range then, but I think now it's like $8,000, but it would be worth $8,000 because he's amazing. So I go to look on the page, and they had a new doctor, and his name was Dr. Bass. And I looked at his reviews, looked at his work online, and his work online looked really good. So I was like, wow, you know, if I get in and I lock this deal in, I think it was around $3,500. I'll lock this deal in, and I'm gonna get this wonderful BBL, and I'm gonna look like this. And I just had my mindset on going. My surgery was February 21st, 2019. I think once I can't even remember who my coordinator was. Stephanie was her name. She was my coordinator. You had a horrible time getting through to them. This was my first surgery. That's the only surgery I've ever had. So I really wasn't sure how, you're supposed to communicate with your coordinators. Whenever I would have questions, it seemed like I would call, and it would be like, you are now the 17th person in line. And then after an hour and a half of waiting, you finally decide, okay, I'm going to hang up. You try to email, never get a response. Text, never get a response. So sometimes it would take me weeks to get a hold of my coordinator, which is really nerve-wracking, especially when you're kind of like want answers, and you're nervous, and you're going to another state and traveling. It's a lot. That should have been my first red flag, mind you. Usually a month before you have your surgery, you have to have labs done. It's like a complete lab where they check every kind of cell, your kidneys, your liver, how all your enzymes, everything's functioning. Yeah, and they check you for STDs, any kind of diseases, diabetes, anything you can possibly get checked for, you have to have that done. Then you have to have an EKG done, where they go in and they hook these little electrodes up to you. It literally takes 2 minutes, and it's like the study of the waves of your heart to make sure that your heart is beating properly. Just so you know that they can look and see if there's any kind of any kind of thing that you have going into surgery, or if there's something that might cause you not to be able to have the surgery. Now, obviously, some things can get missed, but from the most of sorry, for the most part, they catch it. When I went to turn my paperwork in, I got a text that everything was good. They had received everything. And something just told me, like, a couple days before surgery, just to contact and be like, hey, is there anything else that I might need? Is there anything that you need before I leave? And they were like, yeah, we never got your blood work. And I'm like, what do you mean you never got my blood work? I sent it and faxed it in to you, and I got an email confirmation saying that you received it. And they were like, hold on, let's see. So they put me on hold, and then they go back and they look, and they come back and say, nope, I don't know who sent that to you, but we never received it. So I'm like, okay, let me go fax. So I go to the hospital, they send the fax in, and then I go to my doctor also, and I'm like, will you mind sending, your paperwork that you got from the hospital in, just so I know that with between the two of you, that they're bound to get it. So I stayed, and then once I received my little paper that said that my fax had been sent, I called Spectrum again. They said they still hadn't got it. This went on for days. Like, I'm faxing. I think I even was paying, like, going to, like, a Kroger and, like, our public library and all these places. It's like $1 and something a fax. And I've got all these papers I'm faxing in multiple times a day to see if they would, they had got it. The day before my flight was actually scheduled to leave, they said, yeah, we have everything, but there was like a little list of blood work that they had not received. So I'm like, write it down, send it to me, and I'll go to the hospital and get it. So we went through this repeat process of all day, me in a panic, thinking, oh my God, my flight's leaving tomorrow. I'm going to have to get on this plane. How am I going to get this paperwork? I can't bring it in. They have to have it before my pre-op. I mean, there's just a time limit that you have to even send in the paperwork before you even get there. Like, you can't just show up at your pre-op and say, here's my paperwork, let them look at it. No, it's got to be even before then. So finally that day around 5 p.m. I think I got a text from Stephanie finally, and she was like, okay, we got it all. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. And I almost felt like that I was bothering them by them not getting my paperwork just by their attitude. You know what I'm saying? But in my end, it's like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, and everybody else is. Then why aren't you getting it on your end? So that was red flag number one. Get on the flight, get there smoothly, arrive at Spectrum SX. I think I was supposed to be there at 11 o'clock. We get there a little bit before 11, and as soon as I walk in the door, I'm like, where the hell am I at? It literally looked like if you was to go to like the roughest neighborhood, and you go to the most you go, ladies know, you go to the most ghetto gas station that they have, and there's bars up, and you walk in, and it's just there was a lot of chairs. It's like 30 chairs. Not what I'm expecting. The facility was not pretty by no means. I did not walk in, and it did not look like a clean facility. The floors were dirty, the bathroom was dirty, and I was automatically thinking, oh my God, am I going to get some kind of infection? And the other girls we were talking about it in the waiting room. They was like, oh no, girl, you're going to an operating room. You're not even having your surgery here. This is just where they handle, all the girls before and after surgery. So immediately I was kind of freaked out. It was jam-packed in there. I'm talking like it looked like a farm of, I'm not going to say the ladies were cows, but that's what it looked like, a farm of cows, a farm of cattle. You know how cattle are in herds? That's what it was, herds of girls with BBLs on their knees on BBL pillows in the waiting room. And some girls, it was so packed that some girls had just had their surgery and were coming in that day after just to get checked and get like fajas and their first massages, and they couldn't even sit down. Like, these girls just had surgery. They're doing good to even stand up, and they can't even sit down because Spectrum had it so packed full of girls that had just had surgery or were going into surgery. It was very unsettling. Me and my boyfriend had even talked about it, and he's like, look, forget the money. You lose the money, oh well. We'll take a vacation. You can fly back and just forget about it. And by that time I was in tears. I'm like, I did not take off work, go through gain this weight, because I had gained like 25 pounds for my surgery so I would have enough fat, because I was told the first time that I didn't have enough. And I was like, I didn't go through all this for nothing. I really want to get this done. I just want to get this over with and have this nice body and enjoy my summer and to let this be over with. And in the back of my mind, I had already seen girls that had went there, so I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be fine. This is going to be easy, you know, I'm going to look great. So we go in, and you don't see your doctor at your pre-op at all. Spectrum basically takes you back there, makes you take your urine test to make sure you don't have any nicotine or drugs in your system. Then you have to strip down all your clothes, let them take before pictures of you. They check your weight, they check your height, and then you sign all of your documents. So I did that. I think we waited like 4 hours to even do that in the waiting room. And the girls I seen in pain, hollering and screaming, girls getting ready to faint because they didn't have a chair to sit down in. They had just had surgery. It was wild. So I go back to my room, and they're like, okay, we'll see you at 6 o'clock that morning. You'll be first one on the table. So I'm like, great, good. So later on that night around 9 o'clock, I get a phone call from Spectrum. Hey, this is Stephanie. We was just going to let you know that Dr. Bass had a family emergency and had to leave the country. So he won't be able to do your surgery tomorrow. Did I say that? Can you repeat that for me again, please, ma'am? She's like, yes, Dr. Bass had a family emergency and had to leave the country, so he's not going to be able to do your surgery tomorrow. Now, what we can do for you is let you, Dr. Ortega is free, and he can do your surgery. Oh, no. Oh, no. You know, I'm not going to diss Dr. Ortega. I've seen some of Dr. Ortega's work. One of my friends had a BBL done by Dr. Ortega, and we'll get into that in a minute, and it looks amazing. And I probably should have went to him. But some of the bad reviews that I had seen had outweighed the good, and they had promoted Bass to just doing these big, huge booties. So I was like, set gun ho on wanting Bass. Nope, don't want nobody else. I want Dr. Bass. When is he coming back? You know, they're like, we don't know when he's coming back. And I'm like, okay, if you're going to give me another surgeon, then let me have Dr. Chang. So she was like, hold on, let me call my boss. So I guess she calls the guy that runs Spectrum Aesthetics. And they had me on hold for like 15 minutes. And she's like, yeah, no, you know, he's not going to be able to do this. Mind you, there was probably a huge price difference at that time. And Dr. Chang was very popular. But they never mentioned, hey, yeah, we can if you pay this much of a difference. They never offered me my money back. It was like, girl, you either get this surgery done with Dr. Ortega or you wait till Bass gets back. It's on you. So I was like, you are not taking my money. You are not getting ready to leave me with a doctor that I wasn't prepared to have do my body. And if I was going to have another doctor do my body, fine. But it's going to be somebody that I know does bodies the way I want it done. So, 21st, I did not get my surgery. 22nd came around, Dr. Bass still hadn't returned. The 23rd, we're still in Miami, he still hadn't returned. Then finally, the night of the 23rd, they called me up and said, okay, he's going to be back tomorrow and he can do your surgery at 9 a.m. I'm like, fine, thank you, God, because I was like literally getting ready to leave Miami and lose all of my money, all of my time off of work. I took time off work. I've done paid for this hotel for this long. Now I've missed massages, money I won't get back. I had a nurse that I had to pay for. I lost that money. So I'm like, fine, it's 24th. Let's go and do this. Get it over with. So on the 24th, I go in at 9 a.m. I go meet with Dr. Bass. He was very pleasant. He was really nice to me, actually. He marked me up. I went to show him the pictures of what I really wanted, and he really wasn't interested in seeing pictures. He just kind of wanted to work. I told him I wanted projection. Don't worry about my hips too much. Just, because I already had hips, just curve me out a little bit and give me I want a round booty. He was like, oh, no problem. This surgery shouldn't take long at all. You got a nice canvas. This will be one of my quickest ones of the day. And I'm like, cool, thank you. And then the nerves start settling in when you're thinking, oh my God, am I going to die? Am I going to get in here and get a fat embolism? Because that's one thing you can get when you get BBLs, ladies. It's not an easy surgery. By no means. It's very dangerous. You can get a fat embolism. There's been a lot of dolls go in and not come out because of fat embolisms. And what that is when the doctor inserts the fat into your muscle, and it travels and gets stuck in a vein and clots up, goes to your heart. But the anesthesiologist and Dr. Bass assured me that no, he doesn't. He only does it so far underneath of the skin, just to ensure that he doesn't hit the muscle. So it kind of relieved me. The next thing I knew, I was on my way to anesthesiologist. They were giving me my medication. I remember I was laying on the table. A nurse said something to me, and all I remember was when I woke up. And when I woke up, oh my God, I didn't wake up on the table. I didn't wake up in recovery. I woke up in a wheelchair. And I remember when I come to, I could just see everything moving, and a lot of girls, and they looked terrified. And the reason they looked terrified is because when I come to, I was screaming to the top of my lungs in pain, screaming, like crying, screaming. I didn't know what was going on. The nurse had done, my boyfriend said, when she had the wheelchair, she actually hit the elevator and almost like flipped me completely out of the wheelchair. And they basically like took me down the elevator, put me in the SUV, and was like, here you go, bye. So, you guys, when I see girls on here that are like, yes, I got my booty done and it looks good and I had no issues, I'm like, how? Because I've had 3 cesarean sections, and let me tell you, there was no pain ever. My C-sections were breezes. I didn't have any complications. I was up and walking in 8 hours, sitting up, no problem. This right here felt like somebody had took me off a 2nd-story building, thrown me off, and then a small car just come and run over my body. That's the best way I can describe it. Worst pain of my entire life. My boyfriend said the whole way home I was screaming like, why did I do this to myself? Like, why me? Why did I do this to myself? Oh my God, it was horrible. I remember once we got back to the hotel, he helped me get in, and I took some pain pills, and after about 3 hours, I think I finally passed back out. The next day, I woke up, and I remember I was like, okay, I'm gonna go run, look, and I want to go see my new body. I go look in the mirror, and I'm like, okay, I see, like, my waist looks a little slimmer, like it had a little or nice curve to it. and I was obviously swollen. But when I turned around, I was like, where is my butt? Where is it? And my boyfriend's kind of like, you know, they say, and I'm like, don't even front. Don't even sit here and act. I know you're trying not to make me cry right now, but I'm really getting ready to lose my mind. Like, where is my butt? So I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, it looks exactly the same as it did. It looks no different. What's different about it? And I'm looking and I'm looking. I'm like, okay, don't trip. You've got this little triangle in, it's got the triangle. You can't take a bath the first 24 hours because obviously they don't want anything getting into the liposuction holes that you have because you can set up an infection. So I think I waited 48 hours, and I actually went to a recovery house where my friend was, and I needed to get a shower and a massage. So I got to pay for a massage and a shower. And the lady there, I'll have to message her and ask what the name of that recovery house was because she was great. She brought me food. She was like, come lay in the bed. And I wasn't even staying in a recovery house. Me and my man were staying in oh, my ponytail looks awful. Sorry. We're staying in a hotel, and she took me right in, and she was a blessing because she took my faja off, washed my faja, gave me a shower, and then we got a massage. And the massage wasn't really that bad, but after the massage, I remember I went and looked in the mirror at myself, and I was like, why does my butt look so wide? It looks wide. It looks exactly the same, but it looks wide. And what are these? Down, like, where your banana roll is, like towards your crease, there were these balls, and I'm like, is that why yours don't have that? My friend at the time, she was Ortega doll, and she was like, yeah, but your butt's bigger than mine anyway. I'm like, yeah, my butt is wide, but it's not out. Yours is out, mine is not. I got balls on my butt. What is this? So I ended up messaging Spectrum Aesthetics, and they were like, oh, just massage them, they're nothing. It's probably, are they hot? Do you have a fever? And I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, it's just the fat, it's hard there, wait about 6 weeks and everything will be fine. I'm like, what the hell, this shit ain't right. I knew it wasn't right. Like, I had done seen pictures and videos of girls getting their butts done, and I was like, no. So the next day I went in, I think that was my third day. The third day I went in that very next day and got to see Dr. Bass because I was leaving. They actually allowed me to leave 3 days after my surgery. I had planned on leaving a week. It was around a week, but it ended up, I couldn't miss my flight. My flight was non-refundable, and they were like, oh no, you'll be fine to leave, not knowing that it wasn't even safe for me to fly in 3 days because of blood clots after a BBL. And we'll get into the plane ride home. Oh my God. But I get there, and I had to stand up in a corner and wait to be seen by Dr. Bass for about an hour, and I felt like I was literally on my last life. I thought, okay, if I make it out of here, I will never, ever, ever do this shit again. 2 years later, look at me. But finally got to see him. He looks at me. He was like, oh, you look great. Yeah, you got a little bit of fluid in your stomach. That's normal. Keep doing your massages. You might have a little loose skin there, but we just done liposuction, but your butt looks great. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Why is it so wide, and why is it so flat, and what are these right here? And he's like, no, it's just swelling, and everything will, once it 6 weeks comes, it'll start to soften up, and it'll start settling down, and everything will go where it's supposed to go. And I'm like, okay, I trust you, you're my doctor, I'm just gonna go by what you say. So we pack up and we leave. I advise you, if you get I was new to the whole thing, if you get on a plane, to get a whole row to yourself so you can sit on your knees or You know, at that time, American Airlines wasn't allowing dolls to even sit on BBL pillows. So I kind of like snuck mine in there and sat on it. And I had a guy sitting next to me, and literally my butt was so wide I couldn't even fit in the seat. And it was the most uncomfortable ride home ever. I swear. It was like, I don't know, about 4 hour flight. So yeah, it was terrible. So ladies, get a whole row to yourself. If you gotta pay for extra seat, take that extra seat. It's worth the extra couple $100 because you don't want me messing up your new booty. I'm just saying. And it's miserable. You believe me, it'd be a nightmare, and you will remember it the next time. So we get home, everything's fine, dandy, and once you have surgery, you're constantly looking at yourself every day, taking pictures, wanting to see, what the difference is. And I kept looking, and I'm like, God, and I keep massaging this little ball areas he's telling me to massage, and it's not changing. So a contact spectrum, and they're like, oh, it's no problem. Talk to Dr. Bass. He said, wait, 6 weeks. You got to wait 6 weeks. And I'm like, fine. So I wait 6 weeks. 6 weeks turns around. It looks exactly the same. Nothing has changed besides the swelling. You'll have a little bit of swelling. Doesn't really change the size of your butt or the shape. It's just kind of swollen. So you'll lose a little bit, but it's just swelling for the most part. Like, I didn't lose any fat. It was just that. 6 weeks comes. Exactly the same. I'm starting to soften up now. I can sit down on it, but the balls are still there. It's still shaped exactly the same. Contact spectrum. And this time they tell me, oh, no, you got to wait 6 months for a revision. You mean I got to wait 6 months with these balls on my ass? Are you kidding me? Like, seriously. So I wait, and I'm like, I'm hoping the fluff comes. I'm hoping, I'm keep hearing trust the process, so I'm going to trust the process. So 6 months comes, and I contact them. I'm like, look at this. Look at this shit. This shit is still not changed, and I'm not happy. I keep contacting you all. You all keep telling me to wait. Okay, it's now my 6 months is over with, and the shit is still here. So, I mean, what are you going to do? No reply. No nothing. Message them on Instagram. You could see where they had seen it, and no reply. So I ended up messaging Dr. Bass. Dr. Bass tells me that, yeah, he would do a revision. Yeah, it's no problem for him to do a revision, just to contact Spectrum and let them know that I wanted a revision. So I keep trying to contact Spectrum. No answer. Finally, after a few months of trying to get in contact with them, I had decided altogether. I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to go back to him. Because at that time, there was a lot of us Bass dolls that were having, that did not like their butts. There was a lot of us. And I'm not going to put no names on here just for privacy. But when I say there's a lot, there was a ton. When we all got on Instagram, when we had this little group started talking about it, one day a doll messaged me. She was like, can you see Spectrum Aesthetics page? Just go in there and see. So I keep trying to search it, and nothing's popping up. And I'm like, I can't see shit. I can't get a hold of Dr. Bass and all his meds. I can't see nothing. What's going on? And then more and more and more of us Bass dolls started noticing it. Well, it just so happened the ones of us that were complaining about our BBLs and getting on the page and saying, I've been trying to contact you for months. You haven't contacted me back. They blocked us. Not only did they block us from Instagram, they blocked us from our doctor. So we had no way of getting in contact with him at all about getting a revision done. Some of them were going to go back to him, but I had it in my mind that, no, you've done messed me up once. I'm not going back to you. No, sir. Somebody's got to fix this, and it's not going to be you. I hate to say that. There's a lot of dolls out here that had really good results, but for me, it just... It has been a long, almost, it's been 1.5 years now dealing with this. After you have a BBL, you have a lot of emotions, and things that happen to you that a lot of people I don't see on here talk about. Mentally, it does something. It does something to you mentally, really. I was already a little self-conscious before I had the surgery, but once I had the surgery and it didn't go well and my results were not good, like I didn't have unrealistic expectations, but it's literally ruined now, like to the point to where some doctors didn't even want to work on me, you know. And when you don't expect that to happen, it's like, you see dolls and they have the surgery and theirs turn out good, and you're like, why me? Why did mine turn out like this? Why my body didn't look like that before surgery and hers looks better than mine. When I tell you that it can happen to any one of you all, from any doctor, it can. A lot of doctors are amazing and they have great patients, and the patients turn out looking beautiful, but that does not mean it's going to happen to you. Trust me. And another thing about searching for your surgeons, a lot of these Instagram surgery centers will promote results, and they look great, they look awesome, but what they don't tell you is you could go and expecting to have one round and come out and look like them. It's not going to happen, because most of these dolls that they post have had 2 or 3 rounds, but they don't tell you that, hey, this is such and such after her 3rd round, or such and such after her 2nd round. They just post results before and after. And, to new dolls coming in getting surgery done, that's like amazing. Then, wow, I can go have this done one time. It usually doesn't work like that. God, I could make a whole nother video just on the mental. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Comment down below if you would like me to do a video on the physical and mental tolls that this surgery does to you. I'm here to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. A lot of times I get on the internet and all I'm seeing is good, and I'm like, girlfriend, no. There's a lot of us that do not have good experiences. You all might have, yeah, but a lot of us do not. And nobody's talking about what it does to us mentally. And I know for somebody that hasn't never come in and had it done, they're probably like, what is she talking about? It does something to you mentally? Yes, it does. It does something mentally to every single one of us. Not only mentally, a lot of us have physical problems, like real life pain in your body, and lots of different complications after you have this done. It's a lot, so I could go into another video of that, but I'm gonna leave it at this. Whatever you're doing, your research on your doctor, do it thorough. Make sure your doctor is board certified. Get on Real Self. That's the best place you can look for reviews, because I didn't have a clue, and I wish I would have known about it before, because I could have got on there and seen the horror stories about my doctor and Spectrum, and it might have saved me a lot of money, and a lot of grief that I'm going through right now, mentally, physically, and financially, trying to have this next surgery done to fix my body. What else? Don't trust what you see on Instagram. You're looking at girls that have been done, like I said, 2 or 3 times, have multiple rounds of surgeries. A lot of times they're not. You might find one that comes out and has had 1 round, but majority of the time it's just the good results, not the bad. They're not going to show you the bad results. So do your research on your center. Talk to, plenty of girls. Look on Real Self. Just research. And just go in knowing that, I don't want to be negative, but just go in with the mindset of, I could come out and this could not go the way that I planned, because that's exactly what happened to me. But I didn't go in with that mindset. I went in with this mindset that I'm going to come out looking like a video vixen, and when I didn't, and I was left with what I'm left with now, having to get fixed. It's been very devastating, mentally, physically, relationship wise with my boyfriend, just everything. So yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Comment if you'd like to see anything, like to hear me talk about, you know, the emotional and physical aspects of the surgery, recovery items, and just different things that you might need to prepare for this surgery before and after. And with that, I am going to leave this video because it's kind of long now. So thanks for watching, and I appreciate it. Bye.